her name is Gina Carano.
Wow.
Gina Carano.
That's a sort of good.
Dyslexia coming in there. Gina Carano. Yeah. Anyway, she plays one of the leads in The Mandalorian, and she has been fired by Disney for inciting that the treatment of people who are voting Republican is similar to that of the treatment of the Jews in World War II. She's a moron for saying that, because that's just not the case. People are not being, it's just, I'm not even going to go into it because it's just how stupid it is. Like, she's just a very ignorant comment. That's what it is. Yeah. Just pure blind ignorance. And she's been sacked. Which does bring up the whole cancel culture thing. It's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah, you know, I was going to do the classic. It's a classic Ali Woods banter move. I was going to be like, finally, someone's saying it. But when you're saying the sentence, I'm just like, I can't even pretend to agree with this.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's absolute bollocks. There's a big thing, and I've said this before on the pod, but there's a big thing about right wing thinking that the left run the media, and you only need to look at every single owner of any newspaper. That is just fundamentally not true. Up until very recently, a right-wing person was in the White House and in this government, and in many places in Europe have moved more to the right. So if this idea of like the left running things is just bonkers. But what I will say though is the left do come up with the fucking creative ideas that are entertaining. This is the issue. I really like this tweet from Tom Little, who is a very funny comedian. Follow him on Twitter, Tom Little. And he said, you get old farts saying that comedy's rubbish nowadays. It's all too woke and correct, and it's not edgy like it used to be. And then you ask them, what's your favorite joke? And they go, it was Tommy Cooper doing a magic trick. They're not.
Yeah.
It's just resistance to just
change.
Just change, and not being able to say anything you want all the time. Just accountability.
So I don't know if you've seen the new Adam Curtis documentary that's just come out on The Guided.
I really liked Hypernormalization. Yeah.
Yeah. So very similar vein with that, and the first episode is 6-part, long this one, 6-part.
Yeah, Hypernormalization was like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. So not short, but it was it's a sort of explanation of how we've ended up in the climate that we are today, and everyone, basically, the internet is essentially, the internet has provided everyone with the same version of yesterday today. So it's just like you can only be fed the shit that you liked at the time of your, that you think is back then, and you'll just be fed those video clips of back then, and people with the similar views as back then as well.
Yeah.
So everyone's just living yesterday today is quite an interesting saying.
But that is so true. My housemate got forwarded a audio clip, the WhatsApp audio voice notes that go viral around WhatsApp, get forwarded on loads of times, from her dad, which was this bloke, supposed to be funny, doing a thing of getting the Chinese vaccine. He's like, well, the Chinese vaccine's the best because it's Chinese food. They made it, like they know what they're doing. And I was like, oh, that's quite funny. But then the whole premise is that he starts like, anyway, yeah. So if you want to go to the pub, and then just goes into doing a Chinese, 70s accent voice thing. Have you heard it?
No, but forward it to me and I'll have a listen. Yeah.
But it was just like, this is a joke that you would just have in the 1970s, and it's not like an old bloke doing it. It's just like, that is what people, and it's gone viral. So there's just loads of people in the country who are like, this is fucking hilarious. Like, it's like just doing these old stereotypes. And because the dad because my housemate lived in China for a few months and learned Mandarin, and her dad messaged her being like, is this actually Mandarin then? And she was like, no, it's a guy going ling and bao, like, just.
Oh my, yeah. It's horrific. It's horrific. But
that's interesting.
People,
I'll check that out.
People, check it out. It's good doco, the first episode anyway. But yeah, people wanting that kind of the way that they felt it was when they were young to now, and only to be surrounded by people who also want that is quite a weird thing. Like no one wants to move forward anymore into a new time. Everyone just wants to be in the time when they were 21 and thought
and more
things
so
were funny.
that people think that everyone's seeing the same thing as them. So they're watching these old clips thinking, oh, everyone's doing this. And
you've got to have seen this.
Yeah,
you've got to have seen it.
Not at all.
No funny.
Like, yeah, not at all. Man, well, but I think fair play to Disney, which is a big evil right-wing corporation.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, if someone's saying stuff, it's just like anything. It's like any sacking. It's like any sacking. If you're at a company and one of the directors came up to everyone and was like, all right, guys, right, I just want to say, just quickly, before we get onto the awards this year, I just want to say quickly that the way Republicans are treated is exactly the same as Jewish people in Nazi Germany. Right, let's get to those awards, Alan. First up, you wouldn't just be like, oh, great, yeah, cool. So I think
I mean, let's not pretend from Disney it wasn't a financial move. I feel like they would have only done it because it would have affected the Mandalorian and the sales of the Mandalorian, blah, blah, blah.
And the Mandalorian isn't watched by, I'm pretty sure it's not watched by people in their 60s in villages.
No.
It's trying to get like a new the Star Wars audience.
Young sort of crowd. So Gladys and Daryl.
I watched Mrs. Brown. I watched Strictly. They're Mrs. Brown's boys, and I'm just watching season 3 of Mandalorian.
The way they took on that Chewbacca Asbaki beast were
Baby Yoda. He's called. He's so blessed.
The Aguarian snare beast was unbelievable. The way he fought that.
Yeah.